So I ain't never really experimented with a lot of stuff because I always figured I was going to be the random person that OD'd on his first try. But if it was a pill out there that granted me a random superpower, I'm down in it, no questions asked. So Project Power is Netflix's newest movie about this pill that grants its user a random superpower for 5 minutes. Now that premise alone had me ready to go with this movie, but once I saw who was in it, I was like, man, come on. Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, let's go. Now I want to jump straight into the acting, but the way I want to do it is I want to talk about the actors in order of their importance to me in this movie, going from least important to most important, because it was only 4 people in here who really mattered. For starters, let's talk about MGK. I didn't know he was in this. I mean, I really didn't even know about this movie until I was at work and they started talking about it like a week or so ago. But MGK showed up in this movie and I think he did a good job. He didn't have a whole lot of screen time, but I can't think of a movie where he really does. But I just wanted to talk about him because as I watched this, I realized every time he gets a role in a movie, I enjoy his character. I mean, he don't do no standout acting or anything spectacular, but he's a good supporting cast actor, I guess. Next up, we get Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, I really like this guy, but I gotta say, I'm sick of seeing him play a cop. I mean, I don't know how many movies he's played cops in, but it's like he disappeared for a while, and every time I see him, I picture him as a cop. And in this movie, he plays, you got it, another cop. And he didn't do a bad job. He's a great actor, and he showed it in this movie as well. It's just that it's like your role's getting old, man. It's kind of like how Kevin Hart is the same dude in every movie. Now, next up is my dog, Jamie. And I love me some Jamie, but he wasn't the top dog in this movie, at least to me, because of the role that they gave him, I guess you could say. Now, Jamie is extremely underrated in my opinion, and you never really hear his name when they talk about top actors or top black actors, anything like that, and I don't think he gets the shine he deserves because partly, even though he does great roles like Ray, he gets roles that are good but not great, kind of like this one. And I mean that as in saying this role felt almost identical to the movie Sleepless, where it was a man on a mission, you didn't know a whole lot about him, you knew just enough to be interested, invested in him, but the movie was so fast-paced and so go, 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 go that the character doesn't have time to really show his acting chops outside of a sense of urgency or an action-packed fight. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't kill this role because I think he did, but because he doesn't get those really dramatic scenes and moments as much as I think he should, it doesn't really show his range, and for that reason he wasn't my top character in this movie. So now that brings me to my most important character in this movie, which is Dominik Fishburn. And let me tell you, that girl was good in this movie. I had never even heard of her before this, but she came in and she showed up and showed out. And at first, I was a little confused because I was like, why is she in here? But as you watch the story, like I said, it's so fast-paced and choppy cuts and things of that nature that you realize she's the glue. They tell you a whole lot of different stories but give you little bits and pieces throughout the movie, but you realize as the movie progresses that she's the centralized character. She's the reason we're able to experience all these different stories. And having a role like that, you gotta be on it. She was my favorite in this movie. So that brings me to the pacing and the visuals in this movie. The pacing, like I've spoke on, is super fast paced. It really gives me a hardcore Henry type vibe minus the first person aspect. But it was really quick. It was always something going on. Very little downtime and slow moments. Now the visuals, I really enjoyed. Seeing the people get their random powers, and in case some people didn't get anything, they blew up. So I really enjoyed that, but I wish they would have did more. Like, they spread it out enough where you were entertained throughout the whole movie, but I want to see more. I want to see more options. I want to see more powers, and a couple of them just flat foot sucked. But like I said in the beginning, if this was real, I'd still take my chances. Go on, blow me up. So to summarize, Project Power was a movie that had really high intrigue and potential, but didn't quite stick the landing. I mean, it had really good actors in it who played really good roles, but outside of Dominik, nobody really had a really character, I guess you could say. Everybody just did what you expected them to do. The visuals were great, but there weren't enough, and the pacing was good, but it was so quick that we didn't really get time to really get to know some of the characters a little bit more like I wish that we could. So with all that being said, I'd still have to give this movie magic must see. And that's probably due to the coronavirus and the quarantine, all that good stuff, but it was a movie that came out in a time where the world is bored, and I really enjoyed it. And I really hope they continue on with this movie because the way the ending was, It wasn't the best, but they set it up like we can just keep this thing going, and I hope they do. But anyway, that's it for this review. Whatever you thought about this movie, comment in the comments below and let me know. Now, as always, if you like this movie and you thought it rocked, like, comment, and subscribe to see more from me, Mike Proc. Later.